Long ago, deep within the golden plains and whispering forests of the savannah, there lived a young woman named Nia, the daughter of a skilled hunter. She was known far and wide not just for her beauty, but for her spirit wild, curious, and untamed like the wind. Many suitors came seeking her hand, bringing gifts of ivory, gold, and woven cloth, but Nia turned them all away. She often said she would only marry a man who could see her heart before her face. One night, during the great harvest festival, when drums thundered and laughter filled the air, Nia wandered away from the crowd. A strange melody drifted from the forest, soft and haunting, unlike anything she had ever heard. It called to her, like a familiar voice echoing from another life. Against her father's warning never to enter the woods at night, Nia followed the song beneath the moonlight until she reached the great baobab tree, the oldest in the land. There, beneath its mighty branches, stood a man dressed in gold and black robes. His eyes glowed faintly like embers that refused to die. "I have waited for you," he said in a voice that melted into the wind. "I am Kleru, prince of the hidden lands beyond the forest. I heard your laughter on the wind and followed it across worlds." Nia's heart trembled, but she felt no fear. His presence was both strange and comforting, as though they had met before in a dream. Kleru spoke of a kingdom where the rivers ran with honey and the moon never waned. He spoke of love that lived beyond life itself. His words wrapped around Nia like a spell. Before dawn, he slipped a golden bracelet around her wrist, its surface engraved with symbols she didn't understand. "This binds us," he said softly, "until the sun and moon meet." And with that, he disappeared into the forest shadows. From that night on, Nia met him beneath the baobab tree whenever the moon was full. He never came by day, and though she asked, he always smiled and said, "The sun does not favor me." Her father grew worried, noticing her distant eyes and secret smiles. "No man who loves you should hide from the light," he said sternly, but Nia's heart had already chosen. One moonlit night, as she met her lover again, a hunter from the village followed quietly behind her. Hidden among the bushes, he watched in horror as Kleru stepped from the shadows, and then began to change. His body rippled and shifted, claws sprouted from his hands, and his golden robe dissolved into fur. In place of the prince stood a great leopard, its eyes burning like two suns. The hunter fled in terror, shouting through the village before dawn, "The leopard walks among us. Nia has taken a beast as her husband." Panic filled the air. Villagers gathered their torches and spears, demanding that Nia confess. But she stood tall before them, her eyes fierce. "He is not a beast," she said. "He is more human than any man I have known. You fear what you do not understand." Her father's heart was torn between love for his daughter and fear for his people. As the villagers marched toward the forest, Nia ran ahead of them, calling out for Kleru. The leopard emerged from the trees, his golden fur shining under the moonlight. The villagers raised their weapons, but Nia stepped in front of him. "Please," she pleaded, "he means no harm." The leopard bowed his head to her. Then, before the eyes of all, his form shifted again, half man, half beast. His voice trembled with sorrow. "I loved you enough to defy my curse. But love between spirit and human cannot last." Nia's tears fell as she reached for him, but before her fingers could touch his face, his form began to fade like mist at sunrise. When the first light touched the earth, Kleru was gone. In his place lay only the broken half of the golden bracelet. Nia fell to her knees, clutching it to her heart. The forest grew silent, the air heavy with loss. The villagers left quietly, for they knew something sacred had been broken, something older than their fears. Nia never married. Every night, she sat beneath the baobab tree, whispering to the wind, waiting for her prince. On nights when the moon shone brightest, villagers swore they saw a golden leopard circling the tree and heard a woman's soft laughter carried on the breeze. They say her love became legend, a bond that defied the line between man and spirit, human and beast. To this day, the old ones still tell her story by the fire. They say love, in its truest form, is neither mortal nor bound by the laws of nature. It is a wild thing, fierce, mysterious, and eternal, just like the leopard who dared to love a woman named Nia. And so, the legend of the leopard's bride reminds us that love is not always meant to be understood sometimes. It's simply meant to be felt. In a world where fear separates us from what we don't know, Nia's story whispers that true love dares to see beyond appearances, beyond fear, and beyond reason itself. Some say, on quiet nights when the moon is full, you can still hear the soft purr of the leopard and the gentle laughter of his bride drifting through the forest breeze. A love that refused to die. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to keep African folktales alive. Until next time, remember, not every legend fades. Some still walk among us.